I get messages all the time asking me how I went from $100,000 in bad debt to a $13 million portfolio. By watching this show every week, I will share exactly how I did it, how I achieved it, and the lessons that I've learned along the way. So do me a favor and please subscribe to our channel. It's simple, it's free, and it helps keep the show going for you. This is where you eat and we talk about changing the way that you think about money, with insights from successful investors, entrepreneurs, and everyday people taking control of their financial futures. So double check that you're subscribed, and thank you for being part of this journey. Welcome everybody to The Lunchtime Investor, episode number 18, and we have James here again. Apparently he was very, very popular and people have asked him to come back. And episode 18 is Does Money Buy Happiness? And I think that's something that we kind of discuss a lot in life. So remember what this is all about. This is The Lunchtime Investor, is where you eat and we talk. James, welcome back.
Thank you, Marcus. I think a very interesting subject, and I think it's going to be a controversial one.
Could be.
Because we can have all sorts of ideas on this one. Are some of the happiest people the poorest people? Or some of the richest people in the world the happiest people?
Well, or you have rich people who are happy and unhappy, and poor people who are happy and not happy. I mean, they're just people in the end. They
are just people in the end, and that is probably a fair conclusion to come to, but there's an awful lot.
We've already finished. We've already come to the conclusion. Thanks everybody for coming. By the way, this was supposed to be the Lunchtime Investor, and it's gotten worse than ever. There is no food.
Last time promised food.
There was no.
Well, I got peckish before the show. I got peckish before the show. I'm guilty of bringing my Whatsits in.
No food for anyone.
You know, I won't play
Eat the apples. There's real apples there. Okay, so what's coming up? Can money actually buy happiness? We'll be discussing that. The classic debate: investing for future wealth versus spending to create memories now. Quick round. What do you think? Which one? What do you think? Investing for future wealth or spending to create memories?
It's inevitably halfway between the two. I don't think money can ever buy true happiness. I think your own personal desires and life money can contribute to that happiness of it.
What do people think in the chat? Let's see.
If you're happy in your life, you're happy with your family and the relationships you have.
True.
Does that not give you more happiness than flying around in a private jet?
Yeah, but we're going to extremes, aren't we? If you can have a lovely partner, lovely children, but you don't have enough money.
But if you've got a lovely partner and lovely children, going home to them every day, seeing them grow up, seeing your life actually evolve and seeing them growing up as well.
What about your children crying because they don't have enough food?
That is an extreme.
We've come to the
extreme. Of course there is an extreme. I think in the extreme of which you have no money to pay for your family, to pay for your children, of course that is going to be devastating to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's assume that we are not at the extreme of extreme poverty. But I think if you have enough...
Why are we talking about rich? That's extreme as well. Anyway, let's keep going. How to find a balance. I think that's what we're talking about here. How to find a balance, right? That works for you, balancing financial security with joy. We're going to go to our first poll, please. The audience poll. Dun, 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 dun. What is your main goal in life right now? Is it A, to save and invest for the future? I like that. I'm not trying to lead... I'm not trying to lead this conversation at all, but I do like that. I have
no idea you would like that, Marcus. That is a shock to me.
Okay, well, here's maybe your one. Go on, you might as well
have experiences and make memories. That is certainly the way.
Everyone's going to go for that.
But that's what I...
Don't try and convince people, right? A, save and invest for the future.
Yes, that's really good.
B, have experiences and make memories.
That is the one to go for.
But why can't you do both? Achieve career success, focus on your health, or something else?
There's something else that's rather open-ended. I wonder what people are going to come up with there.
I don't know. Let's do that. Let us know in the chat. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and we're going to close it. Oh, people are already... All right, here we go. Oh, are we closing it? Did we just close it? All right, we just closed it. Executive decision by our executive producer there.
Oh, they're only siding with you because they know you better, Marcus.
No, I don't know what they're going to do. Save and invest for the future.
I know.
I won.
Know. Thanks, guys. But honestly speaking, though, I do think that the experiences and the memories you create in your life surely are the most important part of it. Yes, a contributing factor to that is having the money to have the experiences and make the memories that you want. But surely the highest level.
Why are you trying to convince them? You're supposed to be talking to me here.
Oh, sorry, Marcus. I'm going to convince you as well then. Okay. Because they're siding with you already. I need to try and bring them around.
Oh, I see.
I honestly think, though, is if you've got no money, we've been there, then you're not going to create happiness. But as soon as we've actually got something, you've got enough money to provide for, those memories of your life, those achievements you achieve in your life that you've created and done yourself, surely on your deathbed, that's what you're going to remember.
Yeah.
You're not going to remember making £1 million. You're not going to remember going to work every day and slonging your guts out and never spending that money. You're going to remember the memories and the experiences you have.
I don't disagree. So Emil is saying she agrees with you, but then immediately says, I want both. So
I do too, Emil, but I do agree with you.
Eleanor says, I think your happiness comes from yourself. Money can multiply it more. Ooh, yes. But you need the foundation first, which I'm assuming she's saying is the happiness.
Would you say multiply more or contribute to?
Oh, well, Fun Video says, I agree, more money amplifies who you already are. Oh, who you already are. A depressed person who becomes a millionaire might remain a depressed person, whereas somebody who's really happy just becomes maybe even more happy.
Yeah, and also to add to that argument, you'd say, well, for some people, it's the creation of money that brings happiness to them, because that's their want in life.
Mm-hmm. Or it's a short-term one. Once they have the money, they can move on to other things. It's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, isn't it? Is that 1969 or something? Maslow's hierarchy, or no, it's in 58, I can't remember. But where, you need to have the basics. You need to have the food. You need to have the shelter. You need to have the water. Once you have that, then it becomes easier.
Once you have that, it becomes easier, undoubtedly. And I think that part we can agree on.
And we can also agree that, if you have, let's say, 10 million, an extra 5 million isn't going to make that much of a difference.
It probably won't, but what you do with that money at that point, if it's to create the memories and to create the experiences you want, then I think that's maybe the happy balance.
Maybe this will help.
10 million is going to be the catch. Is it 1 million that creates the happiness? Is it 10 million?
At what point? And do you think everyone's different? Or
everybody must be different.
It depends where you live as well, I guess. But everybody needs to know what it is for them. Like, do you have a number? You don't need to tell me, but do you have a number?
I don't have a number. I do worry that I spend too much of my life focused on creation of money and not enough time with my wife and my children.
Is that right?
Yeah, I generally, at this moment in time, it's a worry of mine, yes. And I do want to have those memories.
Did you always have that, by the way, or is it because you're getting older?
It's because I'm getting older. I think I'm now getting older. My kids are growing up a bit more, and I've missed out one or two things I wish I hadn't missed. But then, for their satisfaction, for them to have the life I want them to have, I need to do what I'm doing.
I'd like to carry on with this discussion, really, because I feel that a little bit as well. But I don't know whether this is sexist, but as a man, I do feel a certain sense of duty, and it's not about my happiness; it's my children's my family's 100%. Happiness. So that. It's just like suck it up kind of thing. But anyway, I know things are changing, but everyone's different.
I do agree with that. And I think any sexist comment, forgive. But as a man as well, I want to give my children and my wife the life that I think that they want. And yes, of course, I'm willing to sacrifice that.
What if they said to you, I'm flip-flopping by the sides, by the way. Now I'm going on the other side and saying, but what if your children said, but Daddy, I don't care about that. I just want to spend more time with you. And they look at you with these big eyes.
I know, and that's true, but what if me not going to work means they can't have the life that they're currently enjoying?
See, now you're flipping. We're flip-flopping. We need help here. Let's go to the video, which might be able to help. So let's play that video. Oh, we're going to take some notes here, okay?
Lied in bed in my big home in Rancho Santa Fe, Ferrari, Porsche, beautiful wife, 3 daughters at the time. But I remember sitting for the first time in my life and looking at the ceiling going, oh shit, I'm unhappy. My whole life, I never had this. I could buy whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. And so I started buying more, all for me.
Does money buy happiness?
Not directly. It gives you options to be more happy. But there's a reality of this world. Money buys me better health. Money buys me better family. Money buys me better education. Money buys me better experiences. How can we deny that money can't enhance that happiness? But I think the nuance that we're struggling with is you can have a ton of money and not enjoy the pursuit of your potential. You can lose your passion and purpose, and all that money in the world won't ever buy you happiness if you don't have that enjoyment of the pursuit.
Ooh, wow, that was pretty multifaceted. There was a lot there. Yeah. So before we go into that, I mean, I'd love to hear what people think about that as well, of course, because when did you make your first million?
I was lucky. The first business I got involved with, it was a Scottish business called Space Right. We manufactured educational equipment, and the team around me, we succeeded. So I sold that business before I hit 30. So I think I got a lot of luck.
So hold on, you made $1 million before you were 30, or at around 30?
At around 30, 31, I think. Whenever it was.
So you made it quite early. Well,
I did.
I don't know, is that early? Yeah, it is early. What the hell? That is early.
Yeah, I did. I got lucky and I worked very hard. But back then, I didn't have a wife and I didn't have a family. And I'd say my priorities in life had significantly changed since I got married and my children came out. I've got 3 children,
Mm-hmm.
and I truly, I think most fathers would say this: I'll dedicate my life to my kids and to my wife. Therefore, that priority has changed, and also it's created a massive conflict in my life. I want to spend all the time I possibly can with my children, with my wife. However, I have to work to provide for them. And that is my inner need to want to provide and give them everything that I want to have.
So you are doing whatever it takes. But there's a time element there as well, and quality time. When you spend time with your kids, is it not then more quality time because you know it's such a scarce resource?
I think it probably would be, and I'll probably make more of an effort with them, be more patient with them. We all know kids can drive you nuts.
I know, but your kids are like little Nancy Noodles. She's so cute.
I've got great kids, but I thought all parents would say that I love them to shreds. I'd lay my life down for them, but oh my Lord, do they not drive you nuts sometimes?
Yeah.
And I do think I've got more patience with them because I have less time with them.
So I think this gentleman here, he kind of said that he achieved his first million when he was 30, but he seemed to be a multi-millionaire, not a millionaire, because he said he had all the Ferraris. Maybe he took them on. You don't know I don't know whether he bought them or whatever. But he said it doesn't give you happiness, but it gives you options to be more happy. Gives you options to have more education.
It does, and I think the options change in your life. So when I've made my money, first part of my life, I use some of that money to take some time off and go and do some climbing and go and do some rowing and actually be able to actually take myself off in life to do what I wanted to do as me, as James, as a person. Life changes when you become responsible for other people. So if I make money in the future, that won't be for me to go and enjoy myself. It will be for me to better my family. And I think that point of which let's say you marry, and if you have the intention of having children and you're lucky enough to have them, I think that will change your perception of what you do with the money, and also maybe actually change the dynamics of this discussion. Because maybe we should say, is money important pre and post having responsibilities in life?
I mean, it's multifaceted. It's a real matrix there. I think there is no one or two. I do like the bit about the pursuit, though. Is that a man thing? The pursuit of
I mean,
because don't you think that? Okay, look. Oh God, I hope I'm not. Okay, so
Be
for
careful,
me, I know.
Mark.
Well, be careful.
very
But this is
careful.
my opinion, and I'm very open to having my opinion changed. Which is that I remember my mum always saying, you're my greatest achievement for me and my brother. And I kind of went, what, is that it kind of thing? Whereas a man is kind of, well, I'm not really like God. I can't really create something like a woman can. So therefore, I spend most of my time kind of building stuff so that I have meaning to my life. So that it is that what Napoleon Hill always said, he said that the secret to life, there were 2, but on his deathbed he said there were 2, but one of them was to have a purpose, a goal that is bigger than you.
Yes.
And you're going after that goal.
Yes. And I think, but what is that goal? What again is probably coming back to this conversation. Is that goal to give the next generation, whether it's your children or your next generation in life, everything that you don't have or what you have and more, to leave the planet better than you left it?
It could be for your children. It could be, we educate people. So, we want to influence 1 million people, millions. Yeah. That's part of our movement, right? Millions.
I was just going to say, that's part of the movement of investment mastery here, is it not?
Yeah.
We've just been talking about it over the last few weeks. You want to help educate as many people in every household that you possibly can. And has money helped you do that? I suppose it's helped you build this business to that end.
Of course.
But the ultimate goal is to help other people, not to make a ton of money.
Not to make a ton of money, but I believe that you can do both.
Yes.
I don't understand why you have to help people and be poor. Why can't you have both? Why can't? So this is something that my mentor T. Harv Eker always talks about, which is brilliant. He kind of says, well, because people think, I need to choose. Should I be spiritual or have money? Do I be a good parent or work hard in my business? And he always says, that's really kind of poor thinking. Mm-hmm. It's like, why, or rather, how can I have both? So I think you can help a lot of people, and you can also be really, really rich. Let's have a look at what people are saying here. Balance, absolutely. But I don't know whether it's always balanced. Okay, so here's the key. I don't know whether it's always balanced. I think it's like, and then you realize, you go, I really need to spend more time here, etc. and so forth. Yeah. But one thing I do know, it's 1:00, and I still haven't had any lunch. Anyway, doesn't matter. Right, I think your happiness comes from yourself. Money can multiply it more, but you need the foundation first. We did that already. Oh, wow, there are a lot of people. let's see, a lot of people in third world countries live in poverty and still are the happiest on the planet.
Yes. Because I think it's all perspective. If you have nothing and then you're able to earn enough money, earn $1.
But if everybody around you doesn't have anything either, then you would be. If you saw everybody else have money and you didn't, that would be a bit of a problem, wouldn't it?
So I'm going to stop you there because I've just seen some food come in. I think we're being fed.
We're getting food.
We're actually getting food. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Well, this will be the first time on the show that we actually get some food.
Can you guys all ask Marcus as many questions as you possibly can so that I can eat and he can talk?
Thank you. Which company are you from? Thank you very much. No tip? No tips?
This is amazing.
This is all for you, Mr. Watsits. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Away from Marcus, I'll have a slice.
Well, I wouldn't mind a slice. Do we have a plate, or this is talking about poverty again? We don't even have plates. We don't have a. Do we at least have a?
You don't need a plate.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Oh, nice. Okay. So what else do we have here? We actually get to eat on the Lunchtime Investor Show. This has got to be a first. I know. I'll let you talk.
No. So a very difficult question for Marcus. we're getting really well at this point in time.
Well, let me ask you a question, James. No. Okay. But you have to put. Janita says. But we have to put ourselves first, right? This is interesting. This is interesting. But we have to put ourselves first. We will teach your children. Yes, please. Come into the picture. This is my mum. She just got married. Big round of applause. Hey! Okay, but we have to put ourselves first. That will teach your children to put themselves first also. What do you think of that? What's your long answer to that?
No. Also, with all due respect, I won't put myself first when it comes to the people I love in life. I think they come first. I work for them. They get the first pound. They will always eat first, drink first. I can understand the concept and the theory behind that, and we're all entitled to our own opinions. But for me, I want my children to learn to put others first. We've got a saying at home, family hold back, is if we've got guests around, they will eat first. We'll serve them first. If there's
you did. You served me first. By the way, this isn't vegetarian. Is this
it's
meat?
Delicious. It's lovely.
Oh, it's lovely. Yeah.
So I will always try and install in my children. It's just my way of doing it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but they should always offer other people first, their guests first, because what goes around comes around in life. If everybody helps everybody else first, I'll tell you what, this world would be a great place.
Don't you think, though, we need to look after ourselves first, be selfish? Because when you look after yourself first, then you're strong, and then you can help many more people. Women are very good at this. They help. They serve. But who's looking after them?
Well, I think the best analogy there is when you're on an aeroplane and they're talking about the oxygen mask coming down out of the wall, and that moment we all fear when we're in a plane. It always says put your own mask on first and then help others.
Right, first.
So that actually goes against my argument, but I do agree that
I think we have a winner.
You cannot help others until you are sort of sorted yourself. I'm making the assumption.
And financially, and let's get back to the point. So financially, isn't it a good idea that you make sure you have, all the basic stuff? Well, okay, so this is the rich thing as opposed to just having the basic stuff, so that you're strong. But then surely the wealthier you get, the stronger you get, then you can help more people.
I think it's dependent on where you are. If I can go back to the plane analogy, you put your oxygen mask on you. Is it that the point you should help others? Or should you then spend the next minute breathing in pure oxygen, building yourself up to get really, really strong, and then help others? Do you put it on straight away, help others? Or do you actually put it onto the child next to you first, because that's where your instinct says you should do, and then put yours on?
That's a good distinction. What do you think, everybody? That is a good distinction. Wow. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's something in between the two. I love what people are saying here is, I visit Africa frequently, and the happiness I see there in people absolutely have nothing is priceless. But again, I'm wondering, is it because they're surrounded by, many others that aren't? I don't know. And Janita says, you can't pour from an empty cup, though. Your greatest gift to the world is your own happiness. That's coming back what Eleanor said a little bit earlier. Okay.
I agree with the comment that Annie's making there, but I think it's perspective of where you are in life. When I was younger, I worked in Uganda with the street child kids out there.
Okay.
And they very rarely had good food. They very rarely had clean water. And it's one of the most upsetting things to see. So I spent my time, they learned, the first time I met them, so let me go back in the story. They would do it on the street. They were doing some very basic gymnastics. They're making human pyramids out themselves. Let's say the guys, and then 3 girls on top of them, and 2 on top, and then 1 at the very top, and trying to get some donations from people walking past. and they really wanted to try and better themselves in the situation they were in. On the day we raised some money, and we almost bought what you class as a shed in this country. They had somewhere to live, and they had a regular supply of water and food. Their happiness was probably a greater happiness than maybe you and I have ever lived, because their basic needs had never been met, had actually finally been met in life.
Well, okay, so but then that's because they've gone to the next level, and is that something we need to keep pursuing, the next level, this next goal, the next goal, the next goal?
It is, but I think surely, well, I would argue that 100% you're correct, but the base needs are probably
100%
the most...
you're correct, but
Okay,
how does that work?
98%.
Can I just say, you're very,
They're
talking
very
of being selfish, how did you manage to stuff that whole slice into your mouth? I'm
going to thank Annie and Janita for that. So if you've got more questions to keep Marcus talking, let me know and I'll have another slice.
Another slice? I haven't even... Why don't you just talk? Why don't you go onto this? Can we share this screen, please? You read that out, and I'm going to eat, because this is ridiculous.
So if they can see I'm assuming they can see the screen. How do you balance saving for the future versus enjoying life now? Saving.
Oh my God.
So this gentleman, I'm 35. I have a stable income, a young daughter, and a small side hustle that brings in a lot of extra money, but not a lot. My finances are in decent shape. I save, invest, and live within my means. But lately, I've been thinking a lot about balance. On one hand, I want to be responsible, build a strong retirement fund, contribute to my daughter's future, and make sure we're financially secure. On the other hand, I don't want to be so focused on saving that I miss out on experiences while she's still young. That's exactly how I feel, by the way. I see people around me spending freely, traveling, upgrading cars, living it up. And I wonder if I'm being too cautious. At the same time, I know plenty of people who regret not saving earlier. My side hustle gives me a little extra income, but it's not enough to significantly change my financial situation yet. Sometimes I think about putting more effort into growing it, but I also don't want to burn myself out. I think that is the very dilemma that we're discussing.
I do as well. But there's one thing immediately is about, this whole idea of, we discussed this last week with Matt, which was, this whole idea of, old school thinking, which is work hard and save. With inflation, with the devaluation of the money by the printing of more money, you can't do that anymore. You've got to skip that saving bit and go straight into investing and growing your assets.
Yes, but it's the balance of how much should you put into investing and how much should you actually take to enjoy. And your favourite thing in the world, or seventh wonder of the world, as you call it, compounding, is how much should you put into the compounding effort of investing?
As much as you possibly can. Wealthy people think, okay, but this is the thing, okay? Poor people, it's now, right? They want to live life now. Because does money buy me happiness? I just want happiness. They're like children, like, I want it now. And richer people, hold on. And richer people, what they want is they think more long-term, so they invest and they also enjoy themselves. It's not enjoyment, and then I'll invest. And of course, there's nothing ever left because they're enjoying themselves. Wealthier people, it's the other way around. It's more long-term, think long-term and also now.
But how would you define the poor and the wealthy? I would actually slightly change that.
I think it's poor and wealthy thinking, actually. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I agree with that. Yeah. But I'd also add to that and go, well, it's actually when your needs are met. For those who haven't got their basic needs met, of course you're going to spend the money on water and food, nutrition, medical care, what it may be. Once that is satisfied,
that's not
I think
happiness,
that's when the debate...
That's just survival.
Yes, that's survival. I like that word. Let's call that survival.
Okay.
But once you've got that survival met, I then think it comes into the balance. Yep. And I think that comes into an individual person. I mean, some people would say, I'd love to die with 100 million in the bank, never spent any of it for future generations. Some would say, well, I'd love to die with 50 million in the bank, but I've had some great experiences. Others would say, I'd rather die with nothing in the bank, but I live life to the absolute maximum.
As people are saying here, Annie says it's subjective. Fun Video says people feel wealthy at different levels, right? So at 30,000 a year, they might be happy. Someone, might not. They might say, well, this is absolutely nothing. But what do you think about this person? Because this is the real dilemma, isn't it? Do I do more this? Do I do more this? But there's something there. A young daughter. I have a stable income. I'm a young daughter. So here's my thing. What if something happens later on that I'm going to need more money for, invested, saved up or whatever, liquid invested. I like liquid investments that I can access right now, just in case something happens to my daughter. What then? What am I going to do? If I don't have the money and she's on the floor dying and I'm going to go, well, sorry, I just didn't, I didn't think about this, but it was really nice knowing you. Shake her by the hand and goodbye. Or do I go into the bank account and make sure that the best doctor in the world takes care of her?
Well, I think we are coming around to, maybe a possible answer to the question is should you work out what is needed in life for that event? That you're no longer here, you want to make sure that your loved ones are cared for.
Yeah.
And then over and above that, you start spending on experiences.
I think that is important that you know what that number is, and I think most people don't calculate that number.
I think that number is very important. I started
but also it's not that easy because of course there's inflation. You've got to, people say, well, I think I have enough money. You're going to live another 20, 30 years. I don't think you have, because everything becomes more expensive. Even though, this is interesting because Keith, a few months ago, he started talking about inflation being like a motorway. And I was like, what is he going to say right now? So you're bombing down the motorway. Let's say it's at 7%. You're bombing down. And next year they go, oh, inflation has come down. Everybody's happy. Yeah, it's come down from 7 to 3. It's still increasing by 3%. It keeps going.
You don't really get deflation in any
No. Prices don't generally go down. By the way, have another, please, if you want. No, I can't do both. I just realized that I can't do both. I can't. It literally fell on. I can't. I'm a typical man. I can't multitask. What is this? This is a Domino's meat feast pizza or something.
The greatest pizza you can eat.
That you can eat. I'm not getting a lot. So let's have a look. What are people saying? Okay, they've either tuned off or they're eating. The idea, I think, is that they eat and we talk. But anyway, so look, I think, have we come to some kind of agreement or not? I'm not quite sure. Do you think that it's... you want me to carry on talking? You think life is short, and I think that it isn't short. We're going to live until maybe... And by the way, we're living longer and longer and longer. And so therefore, we do need to save and invest some money in order to... We're going to have more medical bills because we're going to be living longer. No, I just don't want pain at the end of my life. Who's with me here? I don't want pain. I don't mind the dying. Well, I do mind the dying bit, but I think it's... I
think we came to semi-agreement.
No
I'm
pain.
going to put a massive caveat in here.
Okay.
Is let's provide for our loved ones, and over and above that level, let's start enjoying ourselves. That's kind of roughly where people probably are.
Yeah.
However, how long are you going to live?
Well, this is the other thing.
We get run over by a bus this afternoon. We might live to 104.
Well, that's probably not... Neither of those are likely to happen. So therefore, let's say, whatever, 85... And depends whether you're a man. Because if you keep eating that stuff, then, chances are you're going to pass away before your wife.
I'll have a longer life.
You'll have a longer life. Because you're happier.
Exactly.
Because that's the whole point of today. It's like this is a perfect microcosm of what I'm just talking about, and that is you love to do stuff like that, whereas I'm thinking more long term, and I'll eat more vegetable. Like literally, when he sees me eat vegetables, he'll go. Ugh. I mean, he's literally. I think you're allergic to anything that's green.
I just figured all my life I've never been a massive fan of vegetables and fruit. If I suddenly throw them all into my body, it's going to have a really bad adverse reaction. So it's better to stay clear of them all.
Okay, fine. Apart from corn on the cob, which you'd argue. Anyway. All right, let's keep going. Now, we have a poll. Yes, it is your turn. What is the biggest challenge? Balancing money and lifestyle. Is it A, sticking to an investing or savings plan? B, spending on short-term pleasures? C, feeling guilty when spending? And D, something else. All right, let's do it. Ooh. Oh, it's gone. There was...
Looking up.
Feeling guilty when spending. I think they just changed their mind. Right, go ahead, everybody. We're going to give you 5 seconds. Let's have a look. There are no right or wrong answers. It's just your opinion. 3, 2, 1. And there's still more people. Come on, choose. And we're going to close it. Yes, let's have a look. Oh, Annie Brown's dad was 103 2 days ago. So she has a... And she's a lady, so she's going to have even more. Yeah, that is wonderful. Okay, so what is the biggest... Oh, listen to this. Feeling guilty when spending is number 1. Do you know, that's interesting, isn't it? Do you know why that is? Because they're spenders.
Yes.
So
not savers.
Yeah. Sorry, what did I just say?
Feeling guilty when spending.
Yeah, so they are savers.
Oh, because they're savers, they're feeling guilty when they're actually spending.
So what you need...
Is that the case? Or is it the case that they know they're spenders, they're spending, and they feel bad because that's the way they are?
Spenders don't feel bad about spending. Oh, maybe they do.
Maybe they do.
When the bill comes through at the end of the month,
and then they realise, well, they can't actually do that holiday, or they can't buy that, whatever it is that they want for themselves or their loved ones. And they deeply regret spending it.
But generally, because I'm a saver, obviously, although I'm an investor, I'm not a saver. I skipped the saving part. But anyway, is that I use a money management system.
Yep.
If you have 10% of everything that you earn and you have to spend that, and I find it tough, I have to say, because I am a saver, right? So that being the case, I can spend that money guilt-free because actually I have to spend it.
But you're one of the anomalies in this world that actually plans ahead, knows what you're saving, knows what you're spending.
Sure, but
and I think that's
But what we were talking about just now is about we need to learn. It's just we need to learn how to manage our money.
Yep.
Right.
So if you want guilt-free spending, manage your money is what you're saying.
Yes, 10% here, 10% there, 10% there. Not go, oh, I've got this pot and I'm going to have fun. Oh, I don't have enough for my rent and my food.
I think in theory that sounds wonderful. However, you've got to actually build into the fact there's so many unknowns that go into this, let's call it the sausage machine of life.
No, I know that.
What are you spending, what are you not spending?
Well, we have a money management system, which we're going to share in just a moment, so I think that's going to help. Let's see what other people are saying. Wow, that's probably to one of my comments. Thank you both. I think spenders feel no guilt
Oh, really?
about emptying out their entire bank account. Well, they're spenders. But I know what you mean is when the bill comes in.
But then talking to Fun Video's point here, is that because they've got all their primary needs already satisfied?
Yeah.
So they go ahead and spend. Or is it if you spend, you can't then buy
spenders.
food or water the next day?
Yeah.
Saver spending.
There we go. For saver spending might trigger guilt. Yeah, absolutely. Let us know. What do you think? Are you a saver? Are you a spender? Are you something else? What do you think? Let's go through this. Can we share this as well? Because I think this is quite interesting. The pros and the cons of life focus and money focus. Do you know it makes it sound bad? It's like, okay, focus on life or on money. It's like, really? Everyone's going to go for the life is too short, you got to have fun because we're all going to die.
It's always a balance, and it's finding that balance, I think, where this debate is going.
Yeah.
It's all a balance of life. You could spend your life working, doing nothing but being a banker in the city of London.
You're right, but you're right. You need to know that number and maybe not make it so stupidly big. Like I was at a seminar and it was literally, I said, well, I want to have 5 million. that's my net worth. And then whoever it was, Tony Robbins said, and add a zero to that. And I went, okay, then. So now it's 50,000, and 50 million. And I'm like, that's not even my goal. Why am I chasing that goal?
Brings you happiness.
Huh?
I use the analogy just now being a banker in the city. But and let's say they've got no other commitments or they're not responsible for other people in their life. And maybe their target is to make that 50 million. And that's what's going to give them the most happiness in life.
Right.
That's their ultimate goal.
But the question is, right, and this is where it gets murky. There's what do you want?
Yep.
Okay, 50 million, which wasn't even mine. And then there is, but why do you want it? And once you really think about the why, you might even think, actually, I don't even want it. So the two is very important, right? That's what we covered at the Wealth Creation Masterclass. So let's have a look. Pros, I don't know whether we're still showing this, but life focus, what would you say? Well, that's more your side, so you go ahead. What do you think?
So the pros on life focus, create lifelong memories.
Sounds good.
That sounds really cool.
Good.
I'm up for that one.
Yeah.
Improve fulfillment and mental health. Yeah, it's no good being depressed because you haven't got enough focus in your life.
Do you really think, should we, look, this depression thing, do you think that people are more depressed now than they were, or just people are talking about it more, or there's social media so everybody's depressed more, or?
Ooh, I might say something quite controversial here.
Oh, go on.
I think that we have definitely got a lot more people who are depressed in today's world.
Oh, you do?
Undoubtedly.
It's not just that we're talking about it.
Because we are talking about it, and people are kind of going, oh, I'll get on that bandwagon.
Ooh.
And that's one a bit controversial. So forgive me if I'm offending anyone.
So
I don't mean to.
before, do you think that people were also depressed, but they just got on with it?
Yes.
But is that good?
That's a very good question. It's probably good and bad. I think sometimes you do need to just toughen up and get off with things.
I think
and get on with
sometimes
things
you do.
in life.
Yeah.
And I do think that we are getting quite.
I'm going to say something controversial, especially men.
Yeah, we are getting we are softer in today's world. And I do think a bit of toughening up is needed.
Yeah.
And I'll probably include myself in that as well. But on the other hand, being aware of your emotions so that you can go ahead and deal with them is also incredibly important.
Of course.
So once again, it's a balance.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so you've got to also boost personal growth and relationship. Now, on the other hand, right? We got the more money focus. I don't want money focus. That's not all we focus on, but accelerate your financial growth via compounding. My favorite word.
Yeah, that's Marcus's favorite.
Develop strong discipline. Come on, and money habits.
I think you wrote this, Marcus.
Sounds amazing.
This sounds like Marcus.
Improve. If I would have written it, I wouldn't have little dashes in between. I would have seen those dashes if it would have been.
Just on that, if you ever write a sentence to Marcus, please put one spelling mistake in it. If you ever want to see him go absolutely bonkers, it's one of my greatest pleasures in life. Every time I email Marcus, one spelling mistake somewhere in it.
There is no.
And I'll run around to his office to watch him through his office window.
It's called a spelling
fantastic
thing that you press the button.
So yes, please, next comment.
How about this? Stop thinking about yourself and improve the chance to leave a financial legacy. Think about Noodles and her children and the children's children.
And absolutely, as I say, I think everybody will agree with all these points, but to differing degrees. I couldn't agree with you more than improve a chance of leaving a financial legacy. That is undoubtedly my main focus in life. However, second to that, I would then go to the left-hand side and say about the life focus and create memories. Create memories, the ones that I love, and create memories for myself.
Okay. I was going to ask you an amazing question, but it's gone now. So let's go to the more life focus. Go ahead.
So more, where are we? Life focus cons.
See, if you were more focused on money, you would be on this. Because you're more onto life. You're like floating around. You don't know where we are. So it's bottom left, the life focus cons.
There we go.
Yeah.
It can stagnate wealth accumulation.
Exactly.
Absolutely, of course, because you're not dedicating your life to the accumulation of wealth.
Yeah.
Develop bad habits from spontaneous spending. Yep, spontaneous spending. I've certainly come across that. I've made bad mistakes myself doing that, and members of my family have done that. You may financially struggle later in life.
Why would you want to struggle later in life? That is the time when you probably want to enjoy it the most. The golden years, right? The golden years. Right? Let's get that tea bag and use it 5 times a day. Who wants that? And you don't have the energy necessarily to.
Again, it's the balance. Yes, you may struggle later in life. But what if you've got a small amount of financial struggles throughout your life, but your memories, your life experience, and you've lived all those things you want to live. You've seen what you want to see.
Yeah, when you're older, you might not.
Yes, and when you're older in life, you might not have the ability to actually go ahead and achieve those things. Let's say they're more physically demanding.
Yeah.
You want to climb something, let's say.
Yeah.
And you're now 60, you've got all the money in the world, but you can't live that life ambition, because you didn't grasp that when you had the opportunity to.
Amazing.
And again, that's the balance element of it.
So on the bottom right, the more money focus will be the concept to miss out on short-term experience and memories. That's a tough one.
That's got to suck.
You may never get to enjoy the money you accumulated. But was it for you or was it for the next generation?
Again, it's the importance.
But then
of what
that's
you
bad as well, because then they'll never know how to do it themselves, so they haven't built the muscle, so you're making them weak.
Exactly. And
so don't give them money. Give them
experiences.
Well, no. Well, that's on the left-hand side. I was going to give them tools and mechanisms so they can make it themselves. And finally, money focus may cause stress and burnout. These are all good, by the way. These are good.
It does. How about this as an analogy? I'm sure we've all heard of it. You give a man a fish, you feed him for a day.
Yeah.
You teach a man to fish, you feed him for his life.
Yeah.
And I think the memories as a life focus are more about teaching someone how to go about doing something.
Yeah.
You're interacting with the ones you love. When you give someone something, give that man a fish, you're actually buying it for him. So it's more of the right-hand side, the money focus. I would much rather teach all my loved ones how to fish, so they're set for life, and have the memories of teaching them how to fish.
Okay. So I think there's something in the middle there.
Yeah.
So why don't we come up with can we do that? I'm looking at our producers here. Can we come up with something, not right now, but in the middle, they're panicking. This is a live show. Why not put something in the middle where we have a balance? Why don't you and I take 5, not now, but 5 minutes and just, what is the balance? Interesting. Let's have an audience poll. Right, okay. Which statement do you agree with the most? A, true happiness comes from financial freedom or financial independence, right? B, life is too short, enjoy it now. C, life is about balance, invest but also live a little. D, happiness comes from purpose and relationships. Ooh. Tough one. Okay, well, let's go ahead. Go on while they're doing that.
I would say D, purpose and relationships is a big part of life and life experiences, but not all of it.
Yeah.
And you're narrowing it down too much. There's a lot more than just your relationships, albeit that is a fundamental part of life.
Yeah. Okay, so here we are. Life is about balance. We're going to close it now. 3, 2, 1, last chance, and boom.
Yeah.
And we're ending the poll, and the answer is, I have no idea.
Is C, life is about balance, invest, but also
Where's it gone? I have no idea. But the last time I looked, it was definitely life is about balance.
And I think everybody agrees to that. But everybody sees that balance to a different degree.
Well, not everybody, but the vast majority, 71% did, I think. And but funnily enough, the other one wasn't D. It was actually true happiness comes from financial freedom. How interesting.
Because I would hazard a guess that those people who want that financial freedom are struggling to get all their basic needs met.
Yes.
So let's call that, the food, the housing, getting you to that level, after which, or in the spreadsheet analysis, getting you that amount of money that you need to be comfortable, and thereafter you can have the balance.
Where is helping other people in all this? Because that's what motivates me, is that sense of service. So where is that? Is that a secondary? Is that when you've achieved it?
I think it's a tough one. I would actually argue it goes into that first part of it.
Does it?
Is if you're always thinking about others and never yourself, you would probably say you're always going to give it to other people. You'll earn it and give it to other people.
That doesn't sound good either. There's always thinking about other people. What about you?
If you're completely selfless, utterly selfless,
Well, not.
surely, I'm going to an extreme here to make a point, then you would say everything, I will do nothing but work to earn that money to then give it to other people and teach people how to go about doing it.
Do you think
and that is the 100% selfless human being. We
That
are all,
sounds
to
quite
one extent, probably fulfilling, but to one extent, no one is completely selfless in this world. There's no selfless acts.
No.
I'm sure you played that game.
But again, this word balance keeps coming to mind here. Yeah. Okay, let's see what other people... Oh, there we go. There's the result. Life is about balance. 70% happiness comes from finances. 17. Interesting. Purpose. 11. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. I would have put it the other way, really. But okay.
Yeah, me too.
And he says, that's my philosophy too, of teaching to fish, not just giving the fish. Yeah, balance is key. And what of this? Our take. Planning. We said planning. We need some kind of a plan.
Yes.
We need a money management system. We're going to share that with you in just a moment.
Yes.
Also, do you think that you should reward yourself when you... Because otherwise you're just working to this end goal and then you die. Whether you've achieved it or not kind of thing. So do you think there should be certain milestones?
100% there should be a certain milestone. But is it a reward for yourself or is it a milestone of actually giving to others? And again, that's the balance.
Whatever that is for everybody. But actually having them.
Having them is fundamental. Yes,
yeah.
I think you have to.
That's a good one. Okay. Practice intentional spending to avoid guilt. So again, the money management system. So there's a certain percentage, for example, 10%.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and that you do need to spend that.
If it's planned out and it's over and above getting your basic needs satisfied, 100%.
As long as, in my opinion, you also have 10% which you are also investing into assets that grow up. Because you can't just do that and not do that. But that's just my opinion. Because later on in life, you're not...
I would say, but if you have 100 million, would you then say you always need to compound more?
These extremes, man. 100 million.
But okay, if you had 10 million, do you still think, I need to compound that money up? Or do you actually go, you know what?
I do. I'm
going to help others with that.
I do.
I'm going to give, I'm going to teach.
Well, I do both.
Exactly.
Well, balance.
There you go.
Good. Okay, what about this one? Balance living for you plus creating a legacy. Balance living for yourself.
All about balance.
I mean, that's got to be the one, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. And I think everybody will disagree because, as in not quite agree with everybody else, because it's the balance is for you and yourself only.
Yeah.
We go back to the very beginning of this conversation. For those people in Africa, just getting a meal and clean water every day would be bring them the most happiness you possibly can get.
Of course, there's no doubt about that.
Then if you gave to a multi-billionaire, to Elon Musk, some clean water and some good food, he probably wouldn't think anything of it. So it's just where you are in life, the situation you're in, or maybe even the situation you're born into.
Yeah.
I think that was the first point that was actually made in the comments in the chat of this in our conversation here, and it's so true.
Yeah.
So does money bring happiness?
Yeah. Let's after all this, let's go to the question. Does money buy happiness?
Money can buy...
What do you think? Write it on there while he gives us his pizza answer.
I think money can help with your basic needs. It can give you your shelter, your food, your water, your medical care. Over and above that, I think it's harder for money to increase your happiness.
It's not
It's
exponential.
it's not exponential.
Yeah, it would probably be less and less and less and less. The more money you make, less and less. But I do think it can buy options.
It can buy options, undoubtedly.
You can go private. You don't have to wait. Let's say, I'm sorry, that I guess, well, I don't know why I think about stuff like that, but I think I've had experiences where money was needed, and if it wouldn't have been there, that person could have died.
Yes.
And
that's your basic needs, though. I'd say
that's not a basic need.
Basic needs is obviously medical care, shelter, food, and water.
Yes, but people will say, "Oh, but the NHS is there for that. I don't need to save up for that." Whereas I'm going to go, "Well, I can't wait 2 years for an appointment because I'm going to die, so I need to go private today, and if not tomorrow."
Yeah, I think it's very true. And I think, in the US, for example, you have to pay for your own medical care, but within the planning, as you referred to earlier on, I completely agree with that. Within the planning, you need to decide: is my basic needs, do they include living in the UK but wanting to go to private medical care?
Yeah.
Or do they include living in the UK but having that medical care?
So it's having these. So that's really interesting. So it's having these kind of discussions that really gets us to start thinking about what is it that we want, why do we want it, and start planning. And to help you do that, segue, is do access our free money management calculator. It will absolutely. I mean, I've been using it for years and years and years. Taught to me by the great T. Harv Eker. We've adapted it slightly. So just, I think it's in the chat below, which is use it because it really is an amazing, amazing tool for you to become financially free. Okay. So final thoughts. I think balance, yes, is very, very important. Yeah. So for example, do we do a live show or do we eat pizza? The answer is...
I might eat a bit of pizza, but I will thank you all for helping me distract Marcus so I could eat my pizza.
Right, very, very good. So thank you very much to everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing it next week's show. Same time, of course, where you get to eat and we sometimes get to eat, which is patience. Is that the real shortcut to wealth? Oh, that's interesting. That's like an oxymoron. Yeah?
It is an oxymoron.
Yeah. Patience, is that the real shortcut to wealth? And we'll see you next week on the Lunchtime Investor Show.
Brilliant.